This is the S21 Ultra. It's the flagship we deserve at the price we don't. So let's talk Ultra. Let's start with the design and the build quality. Now, love or hate Samsung, they have been producing some of the best phone designs in the market for a while now. The designs are eye-catching, pleasing, and are loved by everyone in the market. And this year's S21 Ultra is no exception. If you look around the phone, there's the Gorilla Glass Victus on the front as well as the back. But the back has this really soft finish, which almost does not feel like glass, and it's just really pleasing to touch. This phone is in phantom black color, and Samsung spent around 3 minutes in their presentation just talking about this color and the finish. So obviously it's really special for Samsung, and it is definitely a great color. It's a matte black really, so it's just thumbs up all around. Now looking at the other areas of the phone, there's the speakers, the USB-C port, the SIM slot, and a couple of microphones. And there's no micro SD card this year, which a lot of people don't like, but personally I've not used micro SD card slots ever in the phone, so it's certainly not a big deal for me. And then the other eye-catching feature about this phone is the camera bump. Now if you look closely, the side of the camera bump melts into the side of the phone as if it's a part of the phone. This is a really neat feature by Samsung. In most phones, the camera bump is sort of like an afterthought and it's protruding out of the phone. But here in the S21 Ultra, it actually feels like it's a part of the design or the structural integrity of the phone, and I really like it. And it has the quad camera setup, as you can see, and we'll talk about these cameras in a while. Overall, this phone is a solidly built phone. As soon as you pick it up, you feel that heft to it. It is a bit heavier in the hand. It's around 227 grams, so it's certainly not lightweight by any standard, but it's definitely a great built phone. The only downside I find to this phone or this camera bump is the wobbliness that it has, so that's something that I don't like. But most people are going to put a case on this phone, so I think that's not going to be an issue at all for them. Now let's talk about the display of the phone, because I believe this is one of the most interesting parts of the Samsung flagship. Last year, the S20 Ultra caught a lot of flack because in that phone you could not use the highest resolution, which was 1440p with 120Hz refresh rate, but this year Samsung has definitely addressed that. So this year it's a 6.8-inch 120Hz Super AMOLED refresh rate display with amazing colors, great visibility outdoors, and like I said, that super smooth 120Hz refresh rate. Now I've been using this phone for the last couple of weeks, and the brightness on this display, like I said, is 1500 nits, so it's great for viewing condition outdoors in direct sunlight, no matter what. I believe this is the brightest display in a smartphone until now, and it also has the latest LTPO technology by Samsung, which basically means that this phone refreshes at a rate from 10 Hz to all the way to 120 Hz to save battery life. And I'm pretty sure this is the same kind of technology that's upcoming in the iPhone 13 series as well this year. So basically a great display. And as you can see, Samsung does put their fingerprint scanner underneath the display. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of under display scanners. I thought I would get used to it, but in the last 2 weeks, it's still giving me some errors or not recognized messages a lot of the times. Personally, I'm a huge fan of having the fingerprint on the back or just having that face unlock from Apple or like the Pixel 4 XL did last year. But yeah, overall this is definitely a great display, thin bezels all around, and the best part is Samsung did not curve the display as much as they used to do in the previous years, so that's another plus point for this display as well. In short, the display is the best I've used in a smartphone. This Ultra flagship has an Ultra level battery as well. Samsung included a 5000 mAh battery which easily lasts a day for me and then some for the next day as well. Now for the most people, this phone could easily last 2 days with light to medium usage, but if you are a heavy user, you could also get this phone to die in around a day. But it's what I would say has a worrisome battery. You don't have to worry about it, and the only downside I found to this battery was Samsung not including a fast charging brick in the box. So Samsung decided to follow Apple in its footsteps, and they decided not to include the 25-watt charger in the box, which sucks. Now this is a phone that costs around $1,865 Canadian, so not having a charging brick in the box at that price, it's a big thumbs down from me. That's all I can say. But other than that, the battery life in this phone is definitely ultra. Now let's shift our focus to the next ultra thing in this flagship, the cameras. Now, Samsung really likes to go all in for the specs of their cameras, and this year is basically no exception. They have a 108 megapixel main camera, an ultra wide, 3x optical zoom, and then a periscope camera with 10x optical zoom. They've also included a laser autofocus to address the focusing issues that the S20 Ultra had last year, but I would say it still gave me some focusing issues here and there, and Samsung can still work on getting that fixed. Otherwise, the cameras are a delight to use, be it daytime or nighttime. The pictures are great with vibrant colors as Samsung is known for, and you can also use the wide angle camera for taking some really good macro shots, which is amazing. That basically means this phone doesn't need a dedicated macro lens. And then there's the video quality. The last video I shot on this channel for the iPhone 12 Pro review was entirely shot on the S21 Ultra, so you guys can go ahead and watch it. I'll link it down in the description below, and you guys can judge if it's a good camera or not. Otherwise, the optical zoom is really helpful. I've been using the 3x zoom a lot to take some really close-up shots. I'm not a great fan of the 10x zoom because I don't use it that much. And then there's also the ultra crazy 100x space zoom, which is basically a mode for spying on people. A bit creepy, but it's there in case you do want to use that. And Samsung also likes to add in a lot of pro modes to their cameras in order for you to take full advantage. So there's the director's view, which basically records from all the cameras at the same time, which is great for, I guess, vloggers. And then there's the portrait video mode, the pro mode, the super slow motion, which is 960 frames per second. Insane. And that's basically it for these cameras. Everything you need is basically in these cameras. I would say the focusing issues and just a couple of video issues solved would make these cameras on par with iPhone. So in short, ultra cameras. Let's also talk about the software in this phone. So it's running Android 11 with Samsung's One UI 3.1 over top of that. Personally, I'm not a biggest fan of Samsung's One UI. I believe they still have a long way to go, but they have made some useful additions over the past. This year they included the Google Newsfeed page to the left, which is a really welcome addition. Otherwise, there's tons of customizability features just waiting for you to come and just use them and go crazy all over. Personally, I like to use stock Android, just keep it simple. But in case you do want to theme your phone, change your icons, it's all in there waiting for you to find out. And then there's also some useful features like wireless power share for charging your earbuds or even another phone. And then there's Samsung DeX that converts your flagship into a desktop, and many more. Overall, I would say I liked using Samsung's One UI more than I thought I would, but like I said, it still has a long way to go. Now for the final question, is the S21 Ultra worth it? Well, the answer is definitely yes, but not at the price it's selling for. Like I said, it's almost $1,900 Canadian, which is way too expensive for a flagship. Now it does have all the features you will need at that price point, but Samsung's phones are notorious for falling in prices a couple of months down the line, so I would definitely suggest waiting for that. Otherwise, I would say this phone has great display, great build quality, great design, great cameras, as well as an amazing battery life. The only thing this phone needs is just a bit of a better UI, I would say. Otherwise, Samsung's flagships really deserve the praise that they get. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys liked it. Leave a comment and please be sure to subscribe for any future content. See you guys in the next one. Peace.